Hello students, so we have a question over here from rotational mechanics. We have got two discs over here. This is the bigger disc of mass m, I'll write over here, and we have the smaller disc of mass 2m. Okay, the radius of the bigger disc is equal to 2r, it is given, and the radius of the smaller disc is given to be r by 2. Alright, the distance between the two centers of the disc is r. Now, the question is not 100% clear, but what we can understand from the question is that this disk is fixed on the bigger disk about its center O dash. There is no friction between the two disks, but the smaller disk can rotate about this point on the bigger disk. Okay, that means the disks are attached to each other at this point. Alright, now the question says that the system is given angular velocity about the center of the smaller disk initially. The system is given angular velocity omega naught about this point. Okay, so we have to find the angular momentum of the system about this point after some time, after time pi by omega naught. So let's first understand the initial situation. First of all, let's look at the smaller disk. The smaller disk is given angular velocity omega naught about its center. So we can say that for the smaller disk, we can say that initially at t equal to 0, it is in pure rotation. There is no translation involved. Alright, because we have given the angular speed about its center. Okay, so its center has initial velocity 0, so we only have rotation and no translation at t equal to 0. Alright, now talking about the larger disk, let's take them. So this bigger disk is set into rotation about this point with omega naught. Alright, that means the center of mass of the bigger disk will also have some velocity. And how much will that velocity be? This distance is equal to r, so velocity will be r omega naught, and also the disk is having its own angular speed omega naught, so this is having combined rotation plus translation. Okay, the center of mass is having initial velocity, at the same time the system is rotating. Now let us first analyze the center of mass of the two disks and their common center of mass. Okay, the total center of mass of the system and the center of mass of the individual disks. So let's analyze the center of masses first. Okay, so for the bigger disk, we have its mass equal to m, and for the smaller disk its mass is equal to 2m, and the distance between them is r. So the center of mass of the system will be over here, and this distance will be equal to r by 3. This distance will be equal to 2r by 3. Okay, you can find this distance using the formula for center of mass. So the center of mass of the bigger disk is having velocity r omega naught, while this is at rest initially at t equal to 0. This is your situation, right? So what is the velocity of COM? Velocity of COM will be m times r omega naught divided by total mass 3m, so that is equal to r omega naught by 3, and that is downwards. Alright, the velocity of the center of mass is downwards. Now since there is no external force involved, that means about this center of mass the angular momentum and the linear momentum should remain conserved. Okay, so the velocity of center of mass is never changing. Okay, and about center of mass the system will keep on rotating with angular velocity omega naught. Okay, so about the center of mass, this point will follow circular motion and this point will also follow circular motion like this. Okay, now we come to the part of the question where they are asking what happens at t equal to pi by omega naught. So at t equal to pi by omega naught, the system would have rotated by how much angle? Theta will be omega naught t, and that will be equal to pi. Okay, the system has rotated by angle of pi. That means this point will reach on this side and this point will reach on this side. Okay, that's it. So if you look at the center of mass, it is just following a vertical path, okay, a straight line path along y axis and coming down like this, okay. The center of mass would have followed a linear path, okay. It is not changing its x coordinate, it is only changing its y coordinate, okay. But about the center of mass, the 2 points would have exchanged their velocities, okay. So the 2m mass, the smaller disk, the center of the smaller disk will be over here, okay, and the center of the bigger disk will be over here. All right, I think we can draw it over here a little, right. So again, this is equal to r by 3 and this is equal to 2r by 3, and velocity of center of mass is obviously not changing, it is still the same, vcom. But now what is the velocity of the two centers? This is the center of the smaller disk. I'll write the mass so that you don't get confused. This is the 2m and this is the m mass. Bigger disk and smaller disk, okay. What are their velocities now? So the velocity of 2m will be, with respect to center of mass, this velocity will be r by 3 into omega naught, okay, plus velocity of center of mass should be added. With respect to center of mass, this is the velocity, plus we add the velocity of center of mass. So this is the total velocity of 2m, okay. So how much is this equal to? So vcom is r omega naught by 3. So r omega naught by 3 plus r omega naught by 3. We get total to be equal to 2r omega naught by 3. And what about this point? So this will have velocity in this direction, somewhat this much, and that will be equal to 2r by 3 omega naught is the velocity about center of mass. Radius 2r by 3 multiplied by omega naught is the velocity with respect to center of mass. And center of mass velocity is downwards, so we have to subtract vcom to get the velocity with respect to ground. So when you put the value over here, you will get, this is the net velocity of the center of the bigger disk. Now, like the question was asking, that find the angular momentum of system at t equal to pi by omega naught about a vertical axis passing through O. So about the point O, we have to find the angular momentum of the system. Now the only question remains is that this vertical axis should be rigidly attached to this point, to the center of the disk, or not. So basically we have to solve with respect to ground or with respect to the center of the disk. So I think we have to solve with respect to center of the disk. I'll start with that, with respect to O. Okay, this is your point O dash and this is the point O at the moment. So with respect to O, what are the velocities at t equal to pi by omega naught? We just copy everything over here, okay, and from the center of mass velocity and this we subtract r by 3 omega naught, okay. With respect to O, O itself will be at rest. This is now fixed, correct, because this is the reference frame. And velocity of COM with respect to O will now become VCOM minus R omega naught by 3. But VCOM itself is equal to R omega naught by 3. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. We have to add them over here, okay. So this will become basically 2R omega naught by 3. Alright, and talking about this, again we have to add R omega naught by 3 over here, okay, because we are solving with respect to O, right. So basically now this will become 3R omega naught by 3. So this is your situation at time t equal to pi by omega about the center of the bigger disk. Now let's bring back the disks over here. So the disks are back over here, okay. So with respect to this point O, we are looking at everything. So about the center, the bigger disk is just rotating. So when I am writing the total angular momentum of the bigger disk, okay, we are writing about O with respect to O. Always need to remember that. So that will be simply I of the bigger disk multiplied by omega naught, simple, okay. So I of the bigger disk is how much? Its mass is m, but its radius is 2r. So the square will be 4r square and divided by 2 times omega naught. So this is equal to 2 mr square omega naught, okay. Now talking about the smaller disk. So for the smaller disk, what do we have to do? So how do we calculate the angular momentum? First we calculate the angular momentum about the center of the smaller disk, so that will be equal to 2m. I'll write in first moment of inertia terms, I small times omega naught, plus we have to find the angular momentum of the center of mass about the point O. So the total distance is equal to r. So r times mass 2m times its velocity is how much? 3r omega naught by 3. Wait a second. So we can cancel out 3 over here. Okay. So basically r omega naught. Okay. So I small is how much? Total mass is 2m and radius is r by 2 squared whole divided by 2 times omega naught plus 2m r square omega naught. So this is equal to 9 mr square omega naught by 2. So your total moment of inertia will be how much? Total angular momentum will be how much? I big plus L big plus L small. So you add these two terms, what do you get? 13 by 2 m r square omega naught. This is your angular momentum with respect to the point O on the disk, okay, on the bigger disk. And if you think about something, see, if you look at with respect to center of mass, these 2 points are accelerating, but their acceleration is towards the center of mass. So when you look at it at the system with respect to point O, then the pseudo force will be acting in this direction. And about the point O, even the pseudo force is not creating any torque. So about point O, your angular momentum is actually not changing. If you observe something, all these values, you will get always the same result, whatever be the time at which you are trying to observe the system. Their positions will change, the positions of the particles will change, but yes, the angular momentum will come out to be this value. Okay.